Welcome to the Live Water Ionizer installation video. We designed installation to be as easy as possible, and in most cases you won't even need any tools. In step 3 you'll notice an update on the hoses where we removed clamps with quick disconnect couplings make installation even easier. The clamp video is still there, however, to show which hoses go where. It'll make sense when you see the video. In a separate video we'll cover how to run the machine with helpful tools and tips on the many uses of acid and alkaline water. More details can be found in the manual if you need them. When you first get your live water ionizer, it doesn't come with a filter installed, so we're going to need to do that. It'll come there in your package. You'll see it like this in a little plastic bag. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the installation of the filter. Now the first thing I do is I take the filter, I put it under the tap, and I run water through here for a couple minutes. That's just to remove any excess carbon sediment from the carbon chamber inside. So I've done that. I've filled this up with water. Now I'm going to do is open up the back of the machine. All I do is press here, and then the bottom pops up, and then I lift it out. I unscrew this counterclockwise, the top. Now my filter here, I'm going to put it down inside, push down hard, and it'll snap into place and seal itself. And then I put my top back on, I twist it till it's firmly closed, and then I take the little tab here and put it in a little notch there, leaning it backwards like this until it grabs, and then I snap it in. In this video I'm going to show you how to install a diverter valve for countertop insulation of the live air purifier. This is pretty easy to do. What you're going to need, and in your package you should have gotten a kit like this that has a number of different parts inside. And you're going to want the diverter valve and this little piece here. It's got two different size threads here. So you're going to need these two parts to install it. But the first thing we're going to do is take off the little aerator valve that's on there now to get to the threads. And usually you can just take your fingers, wrap around it, and start turning it clockwise, and it'll unscrew. If it doesn't unscrew, then you're going to want to find a pair of pliers and wrap a cloth around it. And I'm going to use these pliers here if I needed them. And the cloth is just so it doesn't scratch, and you can just grab that tightly, give it a little twist that way, and that's usually enough just to get it started, and then it'll unscrew. So you've taken the aerator valve off. Now we're going to take the diverter valve and this group of threads right here. Now again, this is for the standard American insulation. If you've got an outside threads or one that doesn't have any threads on it at all, in terms of your faucet, there's actually instructions in the manual for that. But this is your basic insulation. So what I'm going to do with this is take the threads that fit on the inside of the diverter valve and squeeze those in until it's a little bit snug. Okay, and then I'll get the other threads, stick them back where the little aerator was before, and start turning till I get the threads to grab. Now a little piece on the top actually, this can move while this is snug with the seal. So I'm just going to keep turning it though till it gets tight. And then you don't need pliers for it. You can usually do it by hand and it'll seal itself. And that's the installation. Now depending which way you have the ionizer, you're going to want to stick this part, and then the little valve here allows you to turn the ionizer on and off from here. So if my ionizer was on that side, I'd stick this toward that side and just snug it up a little bit. And then once you're done with that, the only thing left to do is stick the other end of the green hose. The green hose is marked by green on the other end onto here, and just push it on snugly. Once it's on snug, it usually grabs and you're done with the aerator. Okay, now it's time to attach my two hoses. Now again, this is the only ionizer that uses FDA approved safe plastics. But we've marked the hoses red and green just for the convenience of connecting them. But what we're going to do is turn the machine on its back, lay it down on the counter here, and you can see the two connectors. One says out and the other one says in. Okay, so there are your two connectors. So we're going to take my two hoses, and the first thing I'm going to If you purchase your live water ionizer in March of 2012 or later, you'll notice that there aren't any clamps for the hoses, and that's because we went to a newer style of coupling. It actually makes installation a lot easier, does a better job of connecting. And all you do is take your hose, in this example the red hose, stick it inside the connector and pull back, and you'll notice it'll lock in. If for some reason you put the wrong hoses or you need to change the hoses, you just basically push in the connector and pull the hose out like that. So on the machine, you're actually just take your hose, here's your red hose in this example, and actually just stick it into the connector, and when you pull back, you'll notice that it's locked. What you do is stick the clamp on these, and to do that, I just grab the clamp here like that, and you might need pliers depending on your finger strength, and I move it down past the green section there. So I move that down there, and let's do the same thing for the red one. Grab the clamp, put it down a little past the red. Okay. Now, if you remember, we connect the other end of the green one to the faucet. So that's going to be our in. That's where the water is going to come in from. And over here, there's a little opening, a little door opening. And we're going to stick our hose through here. And then put that up, and then put our second hose through the little doorway there too. That's our red one for the out. Okay, so then I'm going to take my green hose, stick it on there, stick it on the connector, squeeze the clamp, and move the clamp up to where it's into the green. And then on my red hose, I'm going to stick that on the out connector here. You can see that. Push it on. And squeeze the clamp here till it's onto the red. And then set my unit back up, and I'm ready to turn it on. Now the other end of the red hose is going to go into your sink. That's going to be your acid water. The only remaining step is to plug in the outlet hose. This is where you're going to get your alkaline water out of. And you just put that into the top here. Turn it clockwise until you get a good seal there. Okay. And then the other thing is just plugging it in the wall.